Okay, here's part one of the review. So the process, I'm going to go relatively quickly, so you'll want to take advantage of play and pause. I also am going to send a PDF printout of all the notations that I put on here, but that'll come later. So first I want you to check this out and kind of listen along. So the first one is to go and look at the planes, intersecting planes CHG. You have to identify in a box like this where that is. That's the back, and you can't see G. It's behind the picture of, that's Ethan. So of our four kids, he's the third, and that was when he was a baby. Now we have Graham, who is even older than that picture is right there. But anyway, saw the picture in there and I couldn't resist. But the back of that box, I'm saying what planes intersect it? Well, in fact, they all do except the front. The only one that doesn't hit is the front. And so I went in and actually found out where the three letters represented the front, like DAF. I crossed that out. FID, that was a front. So those two would eliminate numbers A and D because those contain the front face, which does not intersect the back. That leaves us with C and B. The only thing is there's one other little stipulation there. It says all planes that intersect CHG and B had only 3, and C had all 4, the top, the sides, and the bottom. Then there is next question, which had to do with name all segments skew to HI. Well, skew is not parallel and not intersecting. So those 3 yellow lines I put in there are all parallel to HI. You want to eliminate those. And then all the green lines are the ones that intersect HI. You want to eliminate those. And that leaves behind only these 4 that I highlighted, B, C, A, D, A, F, and then the back one, B, G. Those are the ones that would be skew. They're not parallel and not intersecting. So that leaves us with good old A. Next is alternate interior angles, 3 and 5. Look carefully, those are alternate interior. We know those are congruent in parallel lines. So that leaves us with setting 75 angle 3 equal to angle 5, also 75. Next is 10 and 13 and number 7. Now those are same side interior angles, and those are supplementary. So we want to set those, add them up and set them equal to 180. Solve, so I did a little solving there. 3x and 4x make 7x. Add 16 to both sides, and you've got 7x is 196. Divide by 7, you get 28. So that gives us answer choice D. On to the next. I couldn't quite squeeze it in there, so we got number 2 already. Segment skew to HI, but we didn't do number 3 on that front page. So let me quickly put that in there. You want to look at all the segments parallel to AB. And if you look at the picture AB, all parallel things are the edges around this thing. So all the edges are that are going in the same direction as AB, they're all parallel to AB. Next, we want to go down to numbers 8 and 9 using this picture. Here's just 8 for right now. It says using those lines are parallel, S and T. 7 and 10, those angles are same side interior. We know they're supplementary in parallel lines, so they have to add to 180. That means to be supplementary to 84, the given angle 7, you'd have 96 degrees for angle 10. That's C. Next is number 9, same kind of question. So you circle the ones 1 and 15 are alternate exterior, which are congruent in parallel lines. So let's go back and recap. You want to memorize all these, that same side interior are supplementary. All the other angle pairs, alternate exterior, corresponding, and alternate interior, are all congruent pairs of angles. Same side interior is the one supplementary pair. So in number 9, we're looking at alternate exterior. They're congruent. You set them equal. Solve for x with a little subtracting 6x from both sides. Getting x by itself, the last step, divide by 2, and you get x equals 14, which is B for number 9. You go to the next page, number 10. This is what I was going to do the last couple days that were either interrupted by the CAPS thing in the auditorium or the early out snow day. So it's all right, we'll be able to address this more on Monday, but be careful. In this type of problem, you're going to see this in number 10 and number 13. You have to draw an auxiliary line when you have these two, like an angle in the middle of your parallel lines like this. Basically, it's like 2 transversals that met at that point S in the middle. You've got to draw a third parallel line in there. It's called an auxiliary parallel line. And kind of get the idea and just follow here in number 10, figure out what's going on, and then in number 13 you'll see it's not so bad because you'll run through it a second time. But the idea is you want to make sure they're all parallel, so I marked them. Then you want to fill in all the angles. So I'm going to do things I know, like, hey, I happen to know that 134 degree angle up there. I know its vertical angle below it is 134. I also know, if I look at the auxiliary line, the same side interior angle right below the 134 is 46 degrees, because that's what it takes to get to 180. So that's a 46 degree angle in there. So I'm thinking 180 minus 134, oh yeah, 46 degrees. That's the same side interior principle. They are supplementary. So what I'm going to do next is, hey, that bottom angle, we just split 116 into two parts with that new auxiliary line. The top part we just found to be 46 degrees, and the bottom part of that 116 degrees that was all by itself for a while is now 116 minus that 46 we just found. So it's 70. So we just split 116 by that auxiliary line into 46 degrees on top and 70 degrees on the bottom. And then we're going to keep going with what we know. Notice that makes that same side interior angle down on the bottom, parallel down here, 110. So that's kind of helpful. So that same side interior supplementary, 70 degrees, and then 110 is what I need to get to 180. And these are the angle pairs I just got done using. Vertical angles for the first step. Then I did same side interior. Then I did things that added to 146. Sorry, that's not same side interior there, so scratch that little piece out. But I found out that 116 was broken into 70 and 46. And then I did same side interior to get the 110. And then linear pair with that 110 gave me the 70 degrees down there in angle 1. And so it's D. A lot to follow. We'll do another one here shortly, and maybe sit back on this one and then figure out a little bit more with a second example. Next, we've got this triangle thing. Again, another problem we didn't get to because of the shortened last 2 days. But this one's nice. You get to fill in angles. The theme is, once you have an angle, you want to fill in as many other angles as you can with what you know about parallel lines and vertical angles and linear pair and that kind of thing. So I just filled in the bottom angle is 90 degrees in this triangle. So is that angle A, because those are corresponding angles. It says AB and CD are parallel lines. So I went ahead and did the corresponding angles, and then I know, hey, all the three angles of a triangle add to 180. It's something you haven't heard in a while. And so sorry this took off a little bit fast, but I wanted to show you how you could fill in all those angles. And so let me just use a little highlighter here so you can kind of see what I'm getting at. Let's see if I can get my highlighter to be the right color. Oh, there we go. I think I got it. Yeah, we'll use this kind of color right there. So the angles add to 180 in that top triangle. I'm just going to circle it once, and then I'm going to delete it. That upper triangle. So if I've got 90 and 38 already between the two left angles, let me get rid of those two. That leaves me at 52 degrees for the other angle. So that's just 180, take away the 90 plus 38, so feel free to use a calculator. And then I saw, oh, that's a corresponding angle with angle X, or angle D, which is X degrees down below. So I went ahead and said, hey, X is 52. And then I looked at the answer choices. There's only one of them that has 52 as X. So I said, that's it. It must be D. So I went ahead and filled that in, moved on. Okay, so let's do more of each of those. So here's what in number 11, I went out of order. I just did 12 before I did 11. But the corresponding angles, the right angles, they match because those are parallel lines. I know that the three angles in that top triangle add to 180. That makes the 50 degrees necessary for that third angle that's not written in. Then I use corresponding angles again to get X. That means, and there's only one answer choice with X equal to 50 degrees. I didn't have to go find Y. If you want to, you're welcome to. But by finding X is 50, that's the only answer choice that worked. Now 13 is another auxiliary line problem. So what I'm going to do is fill in all the angles again. So watch carefully. Those are three parallel lines, so I can use lots of parallel line properties. So what I did is vertical angles to get the 125, same side interior to get that 55 there above the auxiliary. Then I went ahead and did 119 minus that 55 to get the bottom part underneath the auxiliary line to get 64 degrees. So 119 just got split into 55 and 64 degree angles. Then I did same side interior to get that lower angle of 116. And then I did a linear pair to get angle 1, which is 64 degrees. So I just kind of hopped around a little bit. And did you notice that those angles, we also have some corresponding angles with that auxiliary line and the bottom line P. The angle, we got 64 degrees earlier, and then I could have used corresponding angles to get angle 1 is 64 degrees. So I just marked those corresponding angles. That's a route you could have taken as well. So that gives you angle 1 is 64, that's D. Number 14 is a slope problem. So I took the -1 minus -5 and then did 4 minus a -2 to get the slope of 4/6, which is 2/3 if you simplify. Getting to the end here, more slope. There's 14 again, so you can see that. But 15 is, are they parallel, perpendicular? Neither. So you get slopes of both, and then you compare them. So I'm going to do slope on each of those. -1 for the first one, 6/5 for the other. That's a neither. And then down below it says get the slope of the line that contains these points. That's the same as saying what's the slope. 20/4, which is the same as 5. And finally, number 17, if you do slope one more time, you get 6/12, which is 1/2. So keep track. Perpendicular is opposite and reciprocal slope, whereas parallel is the same slope. All right, that's part one. I'll get to the others later, but I didn't want to make the video too much longer than 10 minutes. Email with questions.